From the Joy News Center. This is News at 8.
This is the Primetime News Bulletin here on Joy News on Multi TV. Coming up, debate on President's State of the Nation address leaves MPs divided in Parliament. The Progressive People's Party has meanwhile described the address as lacking accuracy and direction. Ahafo Ano South DC, who popularized Tria expression, sacked. Ghana Medical Association denies claims it has directed Dr. Akomfanochi Teaching Hospital to reduce their workload over fallouts of the missing baby saga. And organizers conclude preparations for tomorrow's Independence Day parade. We also have business, sport, showbiz, and international news coming up. Stay tuned.
News at 8 with Israel Lai.
The debate on the State of the Nation continued in Parliament, with members from the majority defending the President's address, while the minority punched holes in it.
Deputy Agriculture Minister Dr. Ahmed Yakubu spoke well about the steady growth of his sector, but the minority spokesperson on Agric disagreed.
The food balance sheet for this country, for crops, is positive because of the 6 food security crops that we have in this country. It is only rice that we're in deficit. And even that one, a lot of progress has been made, because as of 2008, this country was able to produce only 30% of national rice consumption demand. Today, we are at 70%.
We know for a fact that the volume of rice imports has been skyrocketing. Last year, it was more than 560,000 metric tons. How can he say that a 60% self-sufficiency? It cannot be. So it is misleading for him to say that we are 70% self-sufficient. He should give us the absolute figures.
MP for New Job and South, Dr. Mark Esibe-Yeboah, also argued the downgrade of Ghana's credit rating by Fitch is to blame for the depreciation of the cedi.
The debt to GDP ratio is abnormally high. That is why Fitch has downgraded our credit rating to B with a negative outlook. As a matter of fact, that credit rating is 5 levels down investment grade. It is for the abnormally high debt to GDP ratio that the depreciation of the currency is worsening. It is for that reason that the government is going to spend over 6 billion Ghana cedis on interest payments in 2014 alone. It is for that reason that payments to GET Fund, the District Assembly's Common Fund, Road Fund, and the National Health Insurance Fund are in arrears.
The Minister of State in charge of Private-Public Partnership and MP for Wa Central, Rashid Pelpo, in his submission indicated the President's plan for the private sector will change the status of the economy.
It's an opportunity for the private sector to cash into the economy and produce what we consume, so we don't continue importing and creating challenges to the economy. Mr. Speaker, the structure of this economy has to be changed, and that has to be done through the private sector and participating, through private sector participating in the production of items and the goods and services that we have in this country. PPP, public-private partnership initiatives, are key, and we have lots of them happening in this country which are going to create jobs for our people.
Mr. Speaker, I have stated here that you could have the best intentions, but intentions alone does not drive a nation. Intentions alone does not drive the economy. His Excellency the President came here and said that he has directed that 50 million cedis should be given to help in the production of antiretrovirals. What will happen is this: the 50 million cedis will only go to refurbish a factory and make it WHO compliant, so that the local factory can compete internationally. But at the same time, you are giving him 50 million. Then you have imposed a tax burden of 17.5% on him. Mr. Speaker, what this will end up is that factory will become a white elephant.
The Minister of Energy and MP for Elembele, Emmanuel Amakofibua, also defended the president's statement on energy.
Mr. Speaker, he made a point that this year he's working aggressively to add 332 megawatts. And he said that because he's working aggressively on this project right here in Ghana.
The debate continues.
Staying with Parliament, majority MPs did not take kindly to a submission by the MP for New Jobbing South Wednesday that President Mahama appeared frustrated during his delivery of the State of the Nation address. It led to heated debate on the floor between the two sides.
It all started with the submission of the MP for New Jobbing South, Dr. Mark Esibeyebua.
When the president was here to deliver his State of the Nation address, at a certain point in time, I guess he was frustrated because he yelled at us to keep quiet and listen, for he was offering a lesson in economics.
The debate then ensued.
Mr. Speaker, just to state that quiet, listen, cheer, that doesn't show frustration. Make very good use of the time, and Ghanaians will get the import of the debate. Honorable Speaker, to say that the president got frustrated, the president is a human being. The president gets hungry. The president gets angry. The president feels thirsty. Even the Almighty God gets frustrated with the behavior of his children. So why can't a president be frustrated? If, in his opinion, he thinks that the heckling and the members in the House got the president frustrated, what is offensive about this?
In his statement, he just said the president was frustrated. By who or by what? So that if we know what frustrated the president, then it becomes factual now for the minister to indicate that regardless of what was said, the president was not frustrated.
Another issue that became the bone of contention was the time allotted to each member on the debate. This was after the first deputy speaker had taken the seat and nearly resulted in members boycotting the debate.
Honourable member, you have 1 more minute to go.
After getting some direction from the clerk, the speaker then allowed the member to continue with his submission. Calm was then restored to the chamber.
It is significant to note that it is the speaker who keeps the time.
The district chief executive for Hafano South, Gabriel Barma, has been sacked from his post. A statement from the presidency signed by Executive Secretary Raymond Atuguba states that the president, exercising the powers conferred on him by Section 20, subsection 4 of the Local Government Act 462/1993, has dismissed Gabriel Barma as the district chief executive of Ahafo-Ano South District Assembly with immediate effect. The Ashanti Regional Minister has been directed to act until a substantive chief executive is appointed. The dismissal follows shortly after the DCE, whose outburst captured on video went viral and popularized the Tria expression, granted an interview in which he said he did not regret his conduct.
I regretted talking to the Tria man, the man that Tria came from. And he was very happy. He said, he's a Ghanaian. She told me anytime he visits Ghana, he will find time to visit me.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, it makes me very big, because how would have a lady in London could have heard of me? Had it not been this issue. I don't think anybody at all from abroad, and there are a lot of friends who have been calling to congratulate me for what I've been able to achieve so far. And I think it has boosted my morale, and I've never regretted for the fact that people call me Chia. I've never regretted for that act.
The incident that has occurred, people thought you are some monster, somebody who got extremely angry. Do you see it that way?
Oh, I saw it on the clip, and in fact, what is on the clip does not really depict the picture on the ground. On the ground, I was just advising the health officers about the need to be patient and help patients who come to their hospital, especially the poor ones. And that is the more reason why the insurance, there's national health insurance. So if somebody has insurance and he happens to visit the hospital and he's not attended to, where does he go? So I was trying to advise them on the need to take very good care of patients who visit the hospital. And it was as a result of what I was saying that somebody said that here. But we see the whole thing, the good side of it was not shown. Even it shows that after when I was going and coming, but it never happened that way.
Do you think it has been edited, the video?
That is it. People sat down, they took a whole month, because the thing happened on the 19th of December.
Meanwhile, the Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Kwesi Oppong-Ofosu, has urged public and civil servants in the country to live up to expectation and uphold the principles and ethics of the Public Service Code of Conduct to protect the integrity of the officers. Citing the recent case where DC was alleged to have made the Chia remark, he said the incident had taken an international dimension and cautioned appointees of the government to be very careful with their public pronouncements.
The sector minister gave this advice at a meeting with staff of decentralized organizations at the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly, where he paid an official visit to the assembly as part of a 3-day visit to the region. Kwesi Oppong-Ofosu urged people of the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly to eschew acts of indiscipline, conflicts and ineptitude to protect the public purse, to promote development for the good of the general public.
We should at all times uphold the code of conduct that comes with our officers. If we do that, we avoid some situations like what happened in Afano South, which has become a small event which has turned out to be a global issue. I mean, the chair and co-equal and all that. See, people forget themselves that they are holding public office. Both the chief executive and the staff of the Ghana Health Service who were engaged in this kind of situation forgot that they were public officials. People are looking up to them, and they must maintain their composure at all times.
Tamale Metropolitan Chief Executive Abdul Rahman Hanan Gundado expressed worry that the creation of Sanarugu district out of the Tamale Metro was creating political, economic and administrative challenges and urged the ministry to iron out the difficulties. He said the Metro office was being housed in deplorable buildings whilst the MCE was homeless and appealed for funds to expedite action on the office building complex for the assembly. Accompanying the minister on the tour is Dr. Callistus Mahama, head of the local government service. On his part, he cautioned that employees of the public and local government service who had undertaken further studies without formal approval from their institutions will not be promoted.
If the people of Krachi should lack any resource at all, it shouldn't be water. This is because that northern Volta district is surrounded by the Volta Lake, making it almost inaccessible. But potable drinking water is a luxury for residents of Krachi, especially in the dry season. Manasseh Azura, when he recently traveled to the area, and reports the few boreholes in the town are drying up, leaving residents with no other way of getting potable drinking water.
It is a survival of the fittest affair at this borehole at Farmer Junction, a suburb of Krachi. This is one of the few functioning boreholes. and there is a scramble for water.
We live more or less on an island. But here lies the case, water is our problem. Students have to come and form line from 6 o'clock up to probably 9 o'clock.
The water situation is so serious that school children have to leave classrooms and struggle for water when the boreholes are flowing. Krachi became a peninsula following the construction of the Akosombo Dam and the subsequent creation of the Volta Lake in the 1960s. Apart from the Krachi-Tamale route, anyone traveling to the Krachi district from any part of the country would have to cross the Volta Lake or the Oti River. The lake has cut the once vibrant commercial town from the rest of the country. But that is not the worry for residents now.
I say mutukia da jomfa Robert Kosensu no nsuna no a enye ye di ekobese na ochini ensu ema sokra seku mi vision kwa na papusi nyakopo na di nipa wa fufi Krachi gore say ensu no kra ben yen tisa de a anke ye twa adwadwo ye suru pa ye den egujam asa ye ti so ho a ye nyansu adintra.
I caught up with the Krachi West District Chief Executive Moses Kwame Ponye and asked him about the frustrations of the residents.
The concern is legitimate in the sense that you cannot be surrounded by water and you find problem with drinking potable water. As at the time, the GTZ, a foreign donor, came as an intervention to give them water. There was an option. The options were rural water and then urban water. And each of them has a counterpart funding, which the local people have to contribute. So they decided to choose the other option, which has less counterpart payment.
For now, residents have to use bicycles and tricycles to fetch untreated water from the Volta Lake. Those who live far away from the lake and cannot buy from the tricycles have to rely on other means. One such means is the shallow wells that are dug in marshy areas, such as the one I discovered at Odefo area. It is said that a man who lives at the river bank does not wash his hands with spittle, but for the people of Krachi, that is not the case. And though authorities say plans to salvage the situation are in the pipeline, it appears they may remain in the pipeline a while longer. For Joy News, Manasseh Azore Arene reporting.
We have more stories coming up after the break. Stay tuned. The Ghana Medical Association has denied reports that it has directed doctors at the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital in Kumasi to reduce their workload over fallout of the missing baby saga there. It follows media reports that the doctors had been directed to attend to only 3 patients per day. But this, the GMA says, is untrue. A statement signed by the General Secretary of the Association, Dr. Frank Sribo, however, says that GMA is unhappy about the manner in which doctors at the facility have been vilified and criminalized as a result of the missing baby issue in both the print and electronic media. He admits, though it is important to unravel the mystery surrounding the lost baby, the matter should not be used to destroy the reputation of the GMA and doctors. Dr. Sribo indicated the association is committed to the investigation and would not shield any doctor found culpable. He, however, urges the Ministry of Health to follow laid-down procedure and not attempt to micromanage institutions so as not to create more confusion. The Glaucoma Association of Ghana is calling for an institutionalized modeling center to train glaucoma surgeons to international standards. The group notes the lack of enough trained ophthalmologists in facilities across the country is hampering treatment of cases.
Glaucoma, described as a silent thief of sight, is documented as a major public health menace and the second leading cause of blindness. In Ghana, 7,000 people are said to be living with the condition, with more than 80% unaware. Though the cause of the condition is hardly known, recent research links some lifestyles as risk factors.
There are other functions in the body which are contributing to the weakness of the optic nerve. So if it becomes weak, like there's no blood supply, and how do you have a condition where you don't have enough blood supply if you have diabetes, for example? So if you can treat somebody's diabetes, you can improve the condition. If you can treat his hypertension, you can improve the condition. If you can change his lifestyle, it can improve the condition.
For the Glaucoma Association, though awareness creation is yielding results, the high cost of medication for patients, coupled with a lack of ophthalmologists in the country, is affecting treatment.
For the people who are diagnosed as having glaucoma, are on drugs for the rest of their life. And most of them become blind because they can't continue to afford it. And along the way, because they can't afford, they stop and they become blind. For debilitating ailments like glaucoma, these can be, the government can look at them and reduce the prices so that they'll be available, more easily available.
To intensify the education and awareness, the Glaucoma Week, which is celebrated worldwide in March every year, was launched at the Ministry of Health with calls for stepped-up efforts to arrest the situation. Minister of Health Sheriaite indicated the Ghana Health Service has been directed to assign ophthalmologists to all the various districts and regional hospitals to help with treatment. She added the ministry would also revise the list of NHIA medicines to include glaucoma drugs.
We have also discussed with the Pharmacy Council the need that we should all meet to see the tax levels that government charges on drugs, so that if we are making any application to Parliament, then we can have a holistic plan so that at least some tax reductions will be approved for certain types of drugs.
As part of the week celebrations, a free public screening would be held at the Elwak Stadium and other regional eye centers.
Members of Parliament have called for sensitization of the general public on glaucoma due to the rising number of glaucoma cases recorded in the country. Members were also urged to hold eye screening programs in their constituencies to help reduce the rate at which the disease is catching on in the country.
Problems like access route to healthcare, shortage of ophthalmologists and clinical staff, financial and economic insecurity, and inadequate medical equipment still pose serious threats to health delivery systems in Ghana. The government intervention can help minimize the spread of the deadly eye disease and also give hope to those already infected with glaucoma. The government can waive the tax on glaucoma medicines and equipment to make treatment affordable to Ghanaians.
But we've been told that before age 40, we have to check, we should have medical examination to see whether we are developing glaucoma. That before age 40, every 2 to 4 years, you have to see the doctor to check. Then from age 40 to age 54, every 1 to 3 years, you have to check. From age 55 to age 64, every 1 to 2 years, you have to see your doctor. Last but not least, after age 65, every 6 to 12 months, you have to see the doctor.
Every member should make it a point that in your community, you can organize basic eye screening tests for people. I personally have a family history of glaucoma. And since I turned 40 a few years back, Mr. Speaker, I've been having regular checkups. When I cannot even watch my TV and I watch my TV and I find fuzziness there, I want to call an eye specialist.
Staying in Parliament, the Select Committee on Works and Housing has met with all stakeholders involved in the Ajumako demolition exercise, which rendered many homeless. The committee has been tasked to investigate the matter and report to the House for consideration.
The victims thronged Parliament when they heard the committee had invited the main characters involved in the demolition. The TDC, TMA and the chief of the area had been invited to assist the committee with information. Some of the victims who spoke to Joy News were hopeful their lands will be returned to them.
Yeah, we are looking forward that they should return our land back to us. That is the only thing we are looking for now, right now, because there is nowhere in Greater Accra here we can get land. So probably we need our land back.
This man, who claims to be a representative of the chief, threatened to take action if the lands are not returned.
We are here to hear that our lands have been given back to us. We are not pleading with them. When persuasion phase, force must be applied. If the internal cannot help us, we can call for external factors to help us.
As at the time of filing this report, the committee was still in a meeting with the stakeholders. The MP of the area, Irene Natoshi, advised the victims not to take the law into their own hands, but wait patiently for the outcome of the investigation.
The Progressive People's Party has described the content of President John Mahama's State of the Nation address as a shock and disappointment. The party's Director of Operations, Nana Ofori-Owusu, told a news conference today the address lacked accuracy and direction.
The PPP, at a news conference at the party's headquarters, stressed the address was hollow and filled with empty promises that do not reflect the current economic state of the nation and the challenges of the other sectors.
During the State of the Nation address, the president sought to downplay the severity of the economic crisis we are in, and consequently did not appeal appropriately to Ghanaians to support efforts to address the problem with urgency. This should have been the structure of the president's presentation to Parliament. Specifically, what the president should have done was to tell us what he has put in place to ensure the rights of citizens to education, employment, good health care, and what he has done to ensure a healthy economy.
Director of Operations of the party, Nana Ofori-Owusu, maintained the president failed to tell Ghanaians the path to take to improve the current economic hardship.
Unfortunately, to the surprise of many Ghanaians, the president, in a well-rehearsed delivery full of needless humor, decided to travel the path of propaganda, painting a picture of what is far from the realities of true state of the nation. Clearly, the need for urgent reform in the country's governance system to enable the smooth operation of good, open, and accountable governance as a catalyst for Ghana's transformational development seems to completely lost on the president.
The party offered suggestions that will help improve the state of affairs.
Turn the Office of Attorney General into an independent public prosecutor's office, separate from the Ministry of Justice, so that the office is removed from the negative influence of partisan politics. 2, separate the legislature, parliament, from the executive, presidential, so that effective checks and balances can operate without fear or favor. 3rd, remove the hand of the executive from the metropolitan municipal district assemblies through popular election of metropolitan municipal district chief executives by the people to ensure accountability at the local level.
A march to celebrate freedom. This is how Independence Day is marked in Ghana every 6th March. Students and security officers from all over the country gather to celebrate the country's liberation from colonial rule. But how does it all come together? Ifua Akwa Harrising has the following report.
It's 2 days to the 57th Independence Day anniversary celebrations. 14-year-old Form 2 student Mariatu Gabriel has been up since 4 a.m. Normally, she's up by 5:30 to get to school. But today is different. It's the Independence Day dress rehearsal.
I have to wake up 4 o'clock because the bus actually go to the Independence Square early as possible.
So what time were you supposed to leave to go to the Independence?
6 o'clock.
Mariatu's school, St. Kizito, has been selected for the first time this year to take part in the annual Independence Day March Past. She's unsure about how she feels waking up this early. It's been a tiring month, practicing since January, but she would volunteer to do it again.
I felt very happy. I was happy. And I said that, oh, my parents are going to see me in the television. I'm going to march for the future.
It's finally time to move to the Independence Square. The students line up for inspection. Those without the brown and cream pinafore will not be allowed to march. They have to look uniform.
After hours of being up early in the morning, these students from St. Kizito JHS are ready to go to the Independence Square to do their final practice ahead of 6 March Independence Day celebrations on Thursday. We are all very excited to go, aren't we? Yeah! Okay, so let's show our excitement to everybody at home. Let's go!
At Independence Square, the various groups, including other schools from other districts within the Accra metropolitan area, are present. But they are not the only ones. The various security services are also representing. All this effort is to give a great presentation before the president and the nation. Nerves have set in for Mariatu and her colleagues. After all, the March Pass is a competition. They are hopeful they will do their best to win a prize. A lot of them are proud to be here.
I'd like to come and march because maybe if I don't march this year, I'll never get the opportunity to come and march again. I feel nervous because this is my first time marching. I pray that we get more marks and then we win the competition. Nervous.
Why are you nervous?
Of the sun. No, we will stand under the sun.
If you had a choice, would you come and march? No? Why not?
Because I'll be tired at the end of the day. In case we not win the competition.
Views and feelings about marching. Whether it is a matter of national pride for some, a bother for others who wouldn't do it again because of the hard work, early mornings, and the trouble of marching under the scorching sun. They all march to celebrate freedom, just as it has been since the very first Independence Day. Mariatu and her friends are looking forward to making their school and parents proud.
Business News is next.
Time now for some business reports with me, Abigail Ajumako. Now, leadership of the Kokomba Yam Market at Agbogbloshie in Accra has refuted claims they will resist the Accra Metropolitan Assembly's move to relocate the market. The executives were reacting to an earlier news conference by a group of yam traders who have vowed not to move to the designated market at Ajumako in the Gan West municipality.
Secretary of the Kokomba Yam Product and Marketing Society, Anthony Tanyam, described the group as imposters. At an earlier press conference, the group of yam traders claimed the NDC government had reneged on its campaign promise to reconstruct the over 30-year-old market. Solomon Tamanja, who claimed to be the spokesperson for the yam traders, said they would vehemently refuse any attempt by the AMA or the Mahama-led government to reallocate the land. But the association secretary says Solomon Tamanja is not their official spokesperson.
Those people who held the press conference were unauthorized. They are not even members of the market. So coming to hold a press conference without seeking clarification from the management, I think it's wrong, it's improper. And when he held a press conference, none of us, the executives or the management or the people in the market, and none of us was around. He went and held it at the back of the market over there.
The leadership says they are not opposed to the move. They, however, want authorities to address some concerns.
At Ajumako, they put up warehouses. But yams, for instance, we need an open space where we can keep them, as you can see behind me, where they can be fresh air blowing over the yams. Because when you keep them in an enclosed place, because of the heat, they all get rotten. And that is why that place is not suitable for us. 80% of the yams that are brought to Accra here pass through the Eastern Corridor. That's when I refer to Eastern Corridor, Howe, Pong, and then through Apenya, Mishakam, and then motorway, and then down to Accra. So locating a market at Ajumako will completely inconvenience us too. So we are prepared that a market could be located along the motorway.
The yam market is one of the biggest in the country. It takes delivery of at least 30 truckloads of yams each day, which are distributed to other parts of the country.
The Minister for Employment and Labour Relations has reiterated government's commitment to technical and vocational education, explaining that it has always considered it as a catalyst for socio-economic and technological advancement. Niyama Ashite was speaking at the graduation ceremony of the 3rd Amnesty Training Program at the Kumasi Vocational Training Institute. A report by Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin.
Out of the 38 trainees who underwent the 9 months amnesty training in motor vehicle mechanics, welding and fabrication, 34 were able to complete successfully. The syllabus for the 9 months training program was for labor market information. The head of the institute, Richard Adu Entry, says the past 9 months have been very challenging in spite of the successful completion of the program. Minister for Employment and Labour Relations says plans are far advanced to retool all the 34 NVTI spread all over the country.
Even at our university, you need to go to a vocational or technical training institution to be able to go and learn a trade or vocation, in order that you can fit into the job market. And that is where the vocational and technical training institute come very handy, because they provide the skills. And therefore, when the trainees leave the institute, they are already in demand.
He says lack of skills has left many graduates unemployed.
In other news, after 57 years of economic development, Ghana continues to battle with currency instability. This is in spite of several years of going through evolutionary processes. For former CPP MP Lucy Ening, so far as the country remains import-driven, the local currency will grow weaker and weaker after several redenomination processes to strengthen it. Up until July 1958, Ghana spent the West African pound, shillings and pence, a currency issued by the West African Currency Board, WACB. After independence, the new monetary authority, the Bank of Ghana, issued its own currency in the form of Ghana pounds, shillings and pence, and formally took over the issuance of currency notes and coins from the WACB. Accordingly, CD notes and peso coins were introduced in 1965 to replace the Ghana pounds, shillings and pence. The new CD went through demonetization and had new denominations introduced by successive governments. The currency, however, weakened after some time and had to be redenominated to change its face value against the major trading currencies. The currency continues to struggle till date. But for post-independence MP Lucy Ening, the self-sufficient nature of the economy in the 1950s and 60s sustained the currency.
For a long time, we were changing £1 to 1 cedi. There wasn't a big deal because at that time we were really producing. We were self-sufficient. We had almost the whole country was spread by poultry farms. We even used to grade eggs in the market because every country, every place we had the poultry farm. We were producing our own sugar from our 2 sugar estates, which is Commander and Suchare, you see, and we're not importing much. Now, go to the market. All over the country, there are rubbish and everything. It's all money. We exchange to buy and put it in our markets. So far as we are not self-sufficient, we continue to depend on imports. I don't think there will be any hope in our city. Our city will continue to fall and fall and fall. You see,
even if we redenominate, it wouldn't change anything.
If we do that, it doesn't help us as a nation.
She expressed disappointment as successive governments, who she contends have failed to move the nation forward after 57 years of liberation.
Do we have to import sugarcane in order to have sugar factory? We can easily plant sugarcane here in Ghana to produce sugar. You see, and the factories are still lying idle.
Who would you blame? I mean, a lot of these factories are
successive governments. They have no clue. They have no vision. You see, and God being so good, and Nkrumah put everything on paper. The 5-year development plan on paper, 7-year things is work and happiness. It's all documented. Why can't we go straight in and follow? The factories are still there. I was the chairperson of the State Footwear Corporation in Kumasi near Shapatre. It was just a whole village still lying idle. Why can't you manufacture even Achimota sandals for our school children instead of our children always going in Brunei? Why? Are we being realistic? Or, you see, we need to be realistic. We need to have a vision for this country. I am so sick and so mad when I see how Ghana is moving, as if we are having backward march.
Independence will be celebrated year after year, but for Lucianine, the celebrations will be meaningless and the strength of the local currency will dissipate till national leaders work assiduously to strengthen the manufacturing sector and boost exports. Abigail Ajumako for Joy News. Well, and that'll be all for business. I'm Abigail Ajumako. Sports is up next.
Stars. Montenegro recorded a famous 1-0 win over the Black Stars in an international friendly match played in Podgorica this evening. An early penalty converted by captain Branko Boskovic was all that the home side needed to record the important win at the City Stadium after right back David Addy fouled on the edge of the box. Here are some highlights of that game.
Krachi in the post. Well, it's the first goal of the match under 1 minute. Montenegro just trying to wind down the clock. Skoja Samoa. Jerry. Just theatricals. But the players would have to be very, very careful. You don't send that into the World Cup because it could be very, very costly. A few seconds to end proceedings. It's amazing, the game of football. And from now, we've exhausted the 4 minutes of added time. It's over.
So I'm sure you saw new jerseys for the Black Stars, and let's have an idea of what it actually looks like. You know, it's been unveiled by Puma. Let's have a look at that.
Ghana's new strips for the 2014 World Cup has been released by kit manufacturers Puma. The Black Stars used the kit in this evening's international friendly with Montenegro. The new kits feature Puma's new football apparel innovation, PWR-ACTV, a first-to-market use of both athletic taping and compression within the apparel. The ACTV tape is strategically placed within the garment to provide micro-massages on the skin, working with a human body to help maximize performance and provide players with a faster, more effective energy supply to the active muscles.
But very sorry about that. That's actually not it. You realize that it has this kente in the neck. It's actually meant to ensure that the players have their, a little bit of massaging as they play, So it's a very interesting one. We'll definitely be bringing that to you. Now we can talk about the First Capital Plus Premier League because there were some games under this afternoon. Very interesting to find out what happens there. Kumasi Asante Kotoko have been on a 3-match unbeaten streak, but it was all brought to a grand halt as Ken Faisal beat them by 1-0 at the Baba Yara Stadium. So it was very, very surprising. Asante Kotoko losing out there. Heart of Lions beat Bechem United by 3-2, and again, history there. Bechem United haven't lost the game of the second round. This time, Coach Tom Strand was in big trouble. Liberty Professionals also returning to the Carl Render Park, managed to beat Hazakes by 3-1. Ashanti Gold drawing 1-1 with Inter Allies. Amidas Professionals beat Edubiase by 1-0. And of course, Brecum Chelsea drew goalless with Wa All Stars on Tuesday. We can now look at the table and find out what's happening. Kumasi Asante Kotoko, yes, might have lost the game, but they're still up there with that 12-point lead. They have 43 points. Hearts of Oak follow. They play later on Sunday. Hearts of Lions have 30 points. Ash Gold, Bechem United, Mijema SC, Wa All Stars, Hazakes in that. We look at the final part of the table. Very, very little change, even though Inter Allies are getting some points there. They're still down there with the Buswan Dwarfs, as well as Adriana Stars, who are defending, who are former champions, definitely. Liberty Professionals, Amidas Professionals, Brecum Chelsea, Edubiase, and Kem Faisal in that order. Now, just before we step out of the studio, now let's talk about what's happening. There are other friendly games ongoing. USA are group opponents of Ghana, and they are losing by 2-0 to Ukraine. So Ghana lost by 1-0 to Montenegro, and they're also losing. We'll look at that. Uruguay also in action. Now, Germany, Ghana's group opponents as well, in the group stage, are leading Chile by 1-0. We just go through it. Belgium leading Ivory Coast by 1-0. International friendlies for you. Ireland leading Serbia. We can talk about England, who are drawing goalless with Denmark. France are leading Netherlands by 2-0. That's an interesting result. France leading Netherlands by 2-0. Other group opponents, Portugal, will play Cameroon later on. The game is actually underway. And of course, Spain will also take on Italy. That'll be all for sports tonight. My name is George Adi Jr. Have a good night. Israel will join us with some more.
Sports was brought to you in association.
Now, Joy News' partner in the UK, ABN TV, or Sky Channel 290, has been crowned the UK's favorite black channel 2014 at the Screen Nations Awards held in London. A representative from ABN TV, Sky Channel 290, Pastor Cynthia PJ, joins us on the phone to tell us more about the award. Now, good evening to you, Pastor Cynthia. What does this recognition mean to ABN?
Oh, good evening, Israel. Thank you so much. Yes, this recognition means a lot for us. I believe that one of the things that it means to us is that it's encouraging, because it helps you to know that, one, you are on the right path. Also, immediately you begin to realize that you're rubbing shoulders with the channels that are in that category. But not only that, it also reinforces the fact that our product is well received. Also that people are looking at you, people are watching you, and so there's a challenge to keep it up. And also, I believe that what it also means for us is that advertisers and content providers can be assured that with ABN, they will receive some of the highest viewership rates for African and Caribbean nationals. So okay. It's great, and we are thankful for that.
Well, we say congratulations to you. But what do you think got ABN the award?
I would say, first of all, that we read in Psalm 127 that except the Lord builds a house, they labor in vain them that build it. And so, first and foremost, I want to say that it is the Lord that has given us the success. So I want to say that first of all. And then also, I believe that it's due to hard work from our ABN team members. We have a very small team, but very hard-working and dedicated. I believe we've also had to embark on good market research to know the needs of the people that we serve, so that we can provide the right programs, including the right programs, some of which is Joy News, and of course, News File, which has become very, very popular over here. News that we've also introduced is the Caribbean series, which is me and the crew, and quality film. So we've taken time to find out what our people need, and we are just supplying that in documentaries. So we're listening to the needs of our viewers.
Right, thank you very much, Cynthia PAJ. She's with ABN TV, and once again, I say congratulations to ABN TV in the UK. They have been adjudged the UK's best or favorite black TV station. That's it for Showbiz.
Showbiz was brought to you by
Airtel Money. It's simple, secure, instant.
Programming notes before we wrap up the bulletin. Market women across the country are faced with many daily challenges, from access to credit, insurance in times of perils, storage facilities, congestion and others. Yet they make significant contributions to the economy. Nanansa Kwao engages the market queen of Greater Accra, Madam Mercy Nijang, in an interesting conversation on PM Express Corporate Wednesday, which comes up next. Stay tuned and share your thoughts on the topic. Now, to wrap up the bulletin, a recap of our top stories. Debate on President's State of the Nation address leaves MPs divided in Parliament. The Progressive People's Party has meanwhile described the address as lacking accuracy and direction. Ahafwano South DC, who popularized Chia expression, sacked. Ghana Medical Association denies claims it has directed doctors at Konfanochi Teaching Hospital to reduce their workload over fallouts of the missing baby saga. And that's it for the bulletin. My name is Israel Lion. Have a good evening.